Okay, I'm almost done. We've got today is so good morning. Sorry, I'm getting off my script. I'm losing it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is. Welcome to Morning Gospel Fuel with Mr. G. It is Thursday, December 31st, the feast of Saint Sylvester and New Year's Eve, evidently, even though it was technically yesterday as I'm recording this video on January 1st. But anyway, you already know that. Let's continue. Feast day of Saint Sylvester. He was a 4th century bishop of Rome, meaning he was a pope. Um, and he was pope during the time of Constantine, which is like I said, the early 300s. But he was 31 whenever he died too, by the way. So not that old. If that were the case with me, I have 1 year left. Who knows? Anyway, he is the patron of a couple different orders of monks, the Benedictines and the Sylvestrines, and a couple others, I think. But otherwise, not much is really known about Saint Sylvester, um, as far as I know, for these short little videos. Anyways, today's gospel of the final day of the year is from John chapter 1, verses 1 through 18. Let's begin in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came to be through him, and without him nothing came to be. What came to be through him was life, and this life was the light of the human race. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. A man named John was sent from God. He came for testimony to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He was not the light, but came to testify to the light. The true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world came to be through him, but the world did not know him. He came to what was his own, but his own people did not accept him. But to those who did not accept him, he gave power to become children of God, to those who believe in his name, who were born not by natural generation, nor by human choice, nor by a man's decision, but of God. And the world became flesh and made his dwelling among us. And we saw his glory, the glory as of the Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. John testified to him and cried out, saying, "This was he of whom I said, the one who is coming after me ranks ahead of me, because he existed before me. From his fullness we have all received grace in place of grace, because while the law was given through Moses, grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God. The only Son, God, who is at the Father's side, has revealed him." If you watch these regularly, some do, some don't, I don't know, but this should sound extremely familiar. Um, so I know my buddy Gil, who watches these every day, will recognize this. So this reading, this gospel reading from John, is the exact same gospel reading that I read through the Catholic Church's organization and structure um, of the lectionary. It's the exact same one as on Christmas Day, which I think is quite interesting. That this gospel, the beginning, the prologue of John's gospel, who was the one who lived the longest, the only disciple who wasn't martyred. So the church, in its great wisdom, gives us this reading again. Just the 25th, today's the 31st, like 6 days later, or 7 days, I guess, which is pretty amazing. So if you want, you can go back and check that video out again. But it's really the same thing. I forget what my challenge was for that, but as I was reading it again, I think another challenge would be, the word testimony really stood out to me. As I was reading it, a man named John was sent from God. He came for testimony, to testify. So testimony, I think that's something that not too many people do, like sharing our story and giving testimonies of where God has worked for you and for me and for us in this life. Because I think, we're all unique. We all have our own story to tell. And way too many people keep those stories to themselves. So the challenge is to, go out, make a new friend or something. Or somebody that you know already, a friend who doesn't know your true story and your testimony of faith, and just where you see in your life of where God has worked in your life. So amongst the struggles and the joys. So share both, but people need to hear more testimonies. So that's the challenge. Find somebody to give your testimony to. Maybe not today, but speak about your testimony more in this upcoming year as we're celebrating New Year's Eve today. So God bless. Keep it real. Amen. And the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.